So today I'm just gonna go over quick video just on context building pretty much using your tools like TPOs and VPs whatever just trying to build yourself like a thesis scenarios because I've seen many people for instance on Friday that they try to long and they just got brutally fucked by both the S and NQ. Um, so I'm just gonna I've already made a notion on this. I'll post a link in the description. You guys can go over it. It's a bit brief. It's a bit basic. I did go over some examples, but I feel like a video is really needed for this topic. So I'll be doing one now. So first, I'll just go over basic AMT. Um, if you already know this, and really you should by now, if you're looking at this video, you already should be familiar with AMT. Um, you can skip ahead. I have timestamps. So yeah, just skip ahead. If you're still unsure about AMT, I'm not really gonna bother and explain it entirely, but I will give some ideas or blueprints on, just generally like how to use it. So just a quick drawing. This is a profile, either TPO or VP, but it doesn't matter what example I use. I'll just say that this is my VP, right? Um, and the component of the VP that we're currently looking at right now is this balance area, right? This high volume node is what we're looking at right now. I don't care about this right now, right? Let's say this is a balanced day, right? This is how usually normal days look like. Yeah, so just a general understanding of AMT. When we're in balance, we're just chopping around because price is accepting this like level. We are happy to facilitate within this area, which is why we have so much volume or time, I guess, if you CPO, being built here. But yeah, that's pretty much what balances are. Um, Now for some just general AMT rules, so let's say we break out of this balance, and this is like a sharp move. Let's say this is like, I don't know, 930 open. We reject off here. We just push up, break through this high volume node, and we just start pushing up. Right now, there's two scenarios that can happen here. First of all, I would love to see volume um, confirming this break, right? This break of the high volume node or balance area, whatever you're looking at. Usually want to see volume, um, or like, time spent, whatever, as like a good sign. If we have volume with the break, then that just means that, traders are happy to facilitate trade higher than this balance area. And even more of a confluence, and this is what you should really be looking at, is this retest. If we retest this high volume node and we get like a good reaction off of it and we don't accept, we actually reject here. So I guess in this case, buyers, like, they step in, they take price in their own hands, in their own direction, and we just start pushing up, right? This is a basic AMT. Just break, retest, and continue higher. In this area, this is where you kind of use order flow, like the DOM, heat map, or footprint, whatever you want to use. But you just want to see rejection on this retest. That's a very basic setup. Another setup is we're in a high volume node, right? We're auctioning high to low, mean reverting. Basically, just means that we're turning to this POC, or yeah, there's just a POC. Price is just rotating. We're not really doing much. We're just building value. Okay, we don't break. But let's say we do eventually break, and just underneath here we have this VP, or this balance area just underneath it, this high volume node. Let's say same thing, right? We're just balancing this high volume node, right? We're not breaking anything. We're mean reverting, right? Just basic auctioning. Let's do say that, we get a spike of sellers. We get huge momentum down, right? We instantly break this. Usually these don't retest from like what I've seen. But yeah, we spike lower, huge selling, and we tap into this previous day balance area, or this can be what I don't know, day, week, month if you're on that like hard time frame shit. But usually it's good to use previous days. But we push price from this balance. We're now in an imbalanced state, right? This state is called imbalanced. Basically, we're or I guess price is seeking another fair auction because we weren't happy anymore to be trading in here. Some news catalyst or something happened, and then the sellers took control. They said, okay, we're gonna try to find a balance lower. So in this case, price this comes back into this balance here, this high volume node. But what is interesting is instead of accepting, buyers step in here, right? So we're gonna reject off of this balance area. Maybe we even retest it and break higher again. Now, once we get back into this balance, right? This is a very brief explanation of the failed auction model, but it's really, really helpful and it's a really good setup. Um, Unfortunately, the only good video I saw on it by OnlyTix, he deleted it, so I'm just quickly explaining here. Yeah, auctioned, imbalanced. We failed to accept into here, right? We had huge rejection. Huge buyers stepped in, even though the sellers tried their best to push price and accept in here. We just couldn't, right? Buyer stepped in. Then we get back into this balance. Let's say we do accept into this high volume node, retested, right? If we reject going lower, right? Buyers step in or sellers, they're running out of fuel, right? They're running out of gas. They can't really support the move any longer. Um, then there is a rule, just 80%, that we will traverse, or that price will traverse this entire like balance area, this entire high volume node up until the other end. So just the upper end, or I guess you can for TPOs like value area high or whatever, just the other end of this balance, this high volume node. Usually, I mean, you can also be safe. Take a TP here if you want to. This is the safest one. Um, and 80% odds is that we actually play and price reaches in this area. So now I'm just going to be doing like a basic analysis for the next week. Just basic example of how I want to see price move, I guess. So I'm gonna just start by dissecting this Friday that we just had. Trading day double distribution, some minor single prints. I would not give a fuck about these, honestly. They're way too small for me to consider, and they don't really correlate with anything on the VP here. Um, this one this one's the only clean one, I guess, because it's in between both balances. But anyhow, first things first, I'm gonna see what we have or where we are right now. So, like most Fridays, and especially training Fridays, we usually end them off with a balance, right? We start chopping usually by or from 12 p.m. New York till market close. That's pretty much the average standard, I guess. So we closed here on this red dot. What I can see is that we actually, failed to go lower here, which is why we have this kind of poor excess, right? This is a buying tail, but it's very fucking weak. So I don't really give a shit about this as much. Um, there's also I'm seeing a poor high here again, a shit excess poor high. I don't know about this. Also shit excess here, just disregard them. Maybe focus on this as the only poor high. This one's a bit iffy. I don't really expect it to hold. But I mean, yeah, you can use it as a TP if you go short. It's 100%. So anyhow, I'm just going to do that, and I'm gonna be like, okay, in relation to value, where are we exactly? Like, where are we standing? And I can see we're standing at this near the valley area low, and we built a lot of time, a lot of volume. You can see this huge high volume node here, right? We spent quite a lot of time in here. So this is just my first idea, right? You can mark it either with your TPO or your VP. Uh, this is kind of stretching it. It's usually the main balance. But I'll mostly just be looking at this, right? These extremes, like this extreme here, matches with this extreme. Awesome. This extreme here kind of matches with this extreme here. Awesome. This matches that, whatever. So now you have to consider you know, what are we most likely to test first, right? Well, I can see that price close on this upper end within value, right? Now, there's a few things we can test in this huge ass high volume node. There's a few things we can test. Like, what stands out to me first is, this um, high volume node. It's kind of, it looks important. It's actually standing out, unlike, these ones that are, chopped inside and shit. Um, we can also, I guess, weekly TPOs to see where we are. Okay, weekly TPO. We closed within this huge like balance area. So if you wanted to, you could filter this out. But I'm probably gonna keep it because it's balance area on both, just for like a short-term play if need be. And I'm seeing, okay, what's the value area high looking like? What's the situation on that? Oh, cool. It's on this edge of this entire high volume node. Okay, cool. Val low is edge of this high volume node on the VP. So now that and the point of control, I don't use it to trade. Like there's some balance, like there's a decent balance here, but it's middle of nothing. This one, it's kind of minor. I mean, you can still take a trade off it, 100%, but it's more short term than long term. Yeah. So you can, first of all, that's the first step. You mark out like major hard time frame balance areas, and then you can also do minor ones. So you can even mark this as a shelf. I don't care. I just have these areas. Yeah, it's a 2.5 ish, 2 point range. Doesn't matter. But my first initiative is we test higher. Why? Because first of all, we failed to accept lower. Right? We literally cannot go any lower on Friday. So and since we closed um on this upper end of this balance, I'm probably gonna assume, okay, we could actually test this first, right? We could test this area first, or we could test, this balance area first and reject off it. Have a failed auction model, 80% rule, hold till here, 15-ish points. Um, let's see what else. Those are in the cases of bearish. If we go higher, then we go bearish. Then there's also just the case that we do fucking dump. You know, break, probably chop, retest, something like that. Like we start building acceptance within this area, retest like this shelf or this extreme, and just dump again. That's also a good idea you can have. There's so many fucking examples, pretty much. Um, but what I really am looking at is I really like this level. For me, this is also, I guess, the edge of this high volume node and also edge of quite a minor balance. But it is also like this edge of this balance area on the TPO, which is interesting. Um, so yeah, you could probably take a decent long off here if we actually start chopping. So let's say, for instance, right, we reject, bam, 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 bam. Start building more value here. Hell, maybe even we start building value here. right? So it probably could look something like this, you know. And then we reject, um, like somewhere here, or hell, maybe even traverse. That's a shit line, but it's this minor balance. We reject off it, accept into balance, start traversing higher. Yeah. Let me see. But if we do break lower, this is what is going to be interesting to me. I don't really want to take longs. First of all, you don't want to catch a falling knife per se. You know, maybe only longs I would be looking is just like around here, like the ultimate test, right? If we absolutely fail to break this, right, that would be like my only sign for longs. But if we do break past all of this, right, we start chopping in here, right? This is a balance area, you know. If we accept, then that means that we're fair, or we're auctioning fairly, and price is happy to spend time here, you know. Probably try to get back into this balance area, or hell, maybe even here. Reject completely, and then just dump again towards the nearest balance area, which for me would be this, um, which is a likely scenario. But again, this is assuming that we don't gap down. If we do gap down, then you're gonna have to obviously adapt your balance, like your bias and whatnot. Um, that's pretty much the basics. I mean, I think I've covered most of this. Just utilize your components smartly. Like don't just brain Denmark. Oh, there's a POC here. It's a POC here. I'm gonna use this as a good level. You know, like you want to ask yourself in terms of AMT. You know, acceptance and like rejection. You know, and actually, I will briefly go over this. Just because I've seen many people fucking have different ideas on it. Basically, acceptance. If we accept into like let's say we trade down in this balance area, right? This is a new day. This blue line is a new day. We trade down into this balance area, right? We start accepting either through time, right? So you usually see like I don't know, bunch of A periods going down, right? Probably B, 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 and then we start chopping about, D, 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 probably C here, E, 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 fail. Then we start going down, and, probably just start auctioning like this. Um, that's acceptance with TPO, right? The more time we spend in an area, the more likely we're going to accept it. And for volume, it's just when we, you know, have like, for example, on this volume profile, I'm going to draw the volume profile in yellow on the right. Let's say, I don't know, we come from a balance area, I don't know, fucking, let's say, I don't know, somewhere here, right? We come from a balance area here, right? Then we break, and your VP should look like this, right? When we get in this balance area here, more specifically even this, right? We get in here, right? Probably start auctioning for bid, whatever. Then we get in here, right? I want us to see, have volume being built, right? Like just volume being built, even like we're traversing down. Like we're gonna have, minor auctions, bam, minor auctions, bam, minor auctions, and these are building volume overall. Maybe even building volume here. Making the profile more bulkier and whatnot. These are just some basic examples. And rejection is no volume or no time spent. Like for example, right here, this is a very fucking very um obvious example. And if you've studied TPO, you would know that this is a buying tail, right? Um, it is a single print on the tail of the profile itself. And in this case, it shows that we spent no fucking time here, right? We spent only one singular period, and we actually traversed. And in this case, yeah, we did have this value area. I don't know if this was here at the time, this edge of this major high volume node, but if there was, this was would have also been rejection of trying to go lower. This is where other time frame buyers step in. Now, this is a perfect example of rejection, right? We spend no time, right? Just a huge single print or like a huge buying or selling tail. In this case, it's a buying tail. Um, that is clean rejection. And on the VP, it's pretty much just the same shit. It's like an LVN, right? Like let's say I don't know, this is your volume profile, right? Start having more volume. Excuse my drawing. And then here, like we probably just have like tapering of volume. Probably low volume spent in this area, or hell, maybe even just approximately thin, right? That's rejection. Look, for instance, like did we have volume on the first break? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Maybe we started auctioning temporarily, right, for like an hour. Maybe that's unlikely. To be fair, that's unlikely. I mean, you can use also intraday TPOs, like I don't know, 30 minute, 4 hour. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. You can use whatever intraday TPO you want, different time frames. Also, obviously, use order flow, like DOM, heat map, and footprint. These are really good tools for you to be able to, read like live data and actually see what is going on here, right? If buyers are starting to step in, what's happening to them? Why are they not breaking, right? Maybe, I don't know, passive sellers are absorbing them, or buyers are running out of gas because sellers are matching their buy, like their market buy orders, and sellers like want to push price down. So obviously you have to play these very smart. You can have these levels, but it's about how you apply them with proper context. My bias would like I kind of want bearish, and this is actually my bias. I want bearish because we literally on Friday we rejected um all time highs here, right? We auctioned for a bit, broke, retested. This was actually no wait, no, that was news. We retested higher a 9:30 period, right? And same concept, right? You probably have the bulk of the profile here, right? We retested this low of the bounce, whatever. It's actually kind of, it's more like I'd say up here, right? But yeah, I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. We rejected going higher, um, and just dumped. Um, and even in this area where there were other time frame buyers, right? This huge buying tail, um, we still managed to build value within that. So to me, this is like also previous bounce areas, seen on VP, whatever. If we reject, probably continue lower, traverse easily through this, and maybe not see actual rejection until, like when you start getting here, this edge of this huge, huge high volume node, you could probably start considering taking longs. Um, but yeah, probably retest higher. I mean, it depends if we gap, if we continue. Uh, I don't know. You just have to see this, and usually I recommend doing your analysis as much as you can, like every few hours, especially for like practice and such. Should be, or it is recommended by me to have a journal, Notion or Discord, whatever. I don't know, just any app that you can screenshot or take videos. Just keep note of what's going on, because there's no point me showing you guys this video and you guys going back and fucking watching 20 other videos on how to use TPO or whatever. Um, it's about application. So yeah, it's pretty much it, I guess.